Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is well. I want to start off. I don't want to keep harking back and making videos on Lawrence Okolie. But I was watching Talk Sport Boxing last night, the weekly show with Spencer Oliver, Paul Smith, Simon Jordan, obviously, and Fraser Clark was on this week. Fraser Clark being in the same camp as Lawrence Okolie, or training with Lawrence Okolie, had an opinion of. He's disappointed that they could be careless and it was negligence and they should have been more careful. And I just want to explain another reason why don't believe this fucking narrative of it was carelessness. He should have known what was going into his body. I'm going to give you another reason why, for me, this is complete fucking bullshit, and do not believe the fucking narrative that they're telling you. The people in the game are telling you. Listen, everybody within boxing wants boxing to look clean. No one in boxing wants boxing to be publicly viewed as a dirty sport. All right, so they're all gonna protect the game, as it were, because they've all got a vested interest in it. But when Fraser was talking about the fact that he was careless, it was for treatment, and Lawrence Okolie came out and it was something he'd had as part of a treatment for an injury. This is another reason why this fucking narrative is bullshit. GHRP2 does have a secondary use or a secondary effect of repairing because it's growth hormone. By definition of its growth hormone, it's things are going to grow and things are going to repair. But that's not its purpose, essentially, right? Its purpose is straight growth hormone, improve muscle size, improve everything, improve growth. Okay. By definition of what peptides are, and SARMs are the same, they're engineered for specific reasons. Now, within the peptide world, there are peptides that are designed and engineered specifically for repair. GHRP2 isn't one of them. BPC 175 is particularly, or BPC 157. BPC 157 is specifically designed for repair, for sort of ligament, soft tissue repair, I suppose, if you like. But it's a substance that's its specific use. So to believe that he was taken or given GHRP2 specifically for the purpose of injury is bullshit. It's bullshit. He would be given a substance, a compound, that its specific purpose was repair, of which GHRP2 isn't. So what I'm saying is, just don't believe the narrative. Don't believe the narrative. It's a crock of shit. They're all protecting the sport. They're all protecting the industry in which they work in. And they can pull this shit on the general public who have no interest in this field, no slightest bit of knowledge in this field, and you'll all believe it. It'll all wash over you. But they spin you a narrative. They're feeding you a load of shit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. GHRP2 is not taken specifically for repair. Where BPC 157 is specifically engineered for repair. And if he was going to pop for a substance, because no doubt I would imagine all peptides are on the ban list, that will be on there. And that's what would have been in his system, or something of that ilk. So that's why it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's fucking dirty. They're all lying. And I won't have any other I can't see any other. Yeah, it's bullshit. So, Anthony Joshua is going to face Christian Prenga in a warm-up fight for the proposed Tyson Fury match, which Frank Warren says will take place in around October, possibly Wembley. Now, we're all fans of this sport, and we've all been following this sport for years, and we're institutionalized into the mechanics of how this sport operates. But now, first off, I think Anthony Joshua is right to have a fight first. He's been through the car crash. We all know that. His last fight against Jake Paul was no kind of warm-up. And this is going to be part of the issue as well. So I'm in full agreement that Joshua is sensible to go through a camp, go through the media pressure of a big fight and fight week and all the media that you do building up to that. So I'm in total agreement. For me, I think that's the best thing for Joshua to do, to give him every sort of chance of beating Tyson Fury when they finally do meet. If they finally do meet, we don't know if that's going to happen, do we? But when it gets to the point, because when you take this Christian Prenga fight, he's an Albanian now, training out United States. Is he like 21 wins, 20 knockouts, something like that? So again, for the absolute casual, because Joshua and the likes of who they cross over into the casual market heavily. On paper, if you don't know, that's pretty decent. But and Joshua is not the only one guilty of this. Of course, this happens all the fucking time. And I think the fact that it's in our sport, it happens all the time. We're desensitized to it. But in what other sporting realm, other than combat sports, because there's other combat sports as well, can you have meaningful matches or fights, which this is? Because if Joshua loses this, then he doesn't go on to fight Tyson Fury. I doubt. If he loses this heavily, gets knocked out by Christian Prenga, that fight's scrapped, dead. I mean, I suppose they could do it, but it's pointless after that. So we and two friends of mine, and on the WhatsApp group with Bob and Joe Stunner, we were talking about suitable opponents for Joshua. So we all fall into the trap of it. But at what point does it cease to be a sport when in competition fights, this is not a pre-season friendly. This goes on the record. This will then enable the Fury Joshua fight to be made. So this is in competition. This is important, if you like. This has bearing on the future career and future fights. But at which point does it stop being a sport? When they are looking for opponents that are not dangerous at a level, that are low risk, so you're engineering, you're almost guaranteeing an outcome. Now, I know there are upsets, there's always upsets, but upsets at this degree are quite few and far between. But when you step out and look at the way boxing operates and look at the way, and even look at Usyk. Now, I think Rico Verhoeven will put on a decent show. I don't think he'll win, but he'll put on a decent show. And a lot of people say, well, he's earned the right, to pick a few easy ones. Canelo had earned the right to pick a few easy ones. All the top guys at some point get the right to pick a few easy ones. And even voluntary defences. In what other sport and arena? Does this happen in F1? Does this happen in football? Off the top of my head, I can't any other, in darts, yeah, you'll get the lesser players at the lower rounds, but not players that are like specifically, you don't play in the Premier League and look around the country and pick a pub side to stick in, because that's a guaranteed win for all the big guys. It just, when you step back, or for me, when I step back and look at it, I just think how weird or how wrong that a competitive sport, can operate like that. That you would just, my next fight, me and my team, my promoters and my managers, we're going to look around for an opponent that's, and Prenga has got a lot of knockouts, but obviously at a certain level, but we'll look out for someone who's not too dangerous, not too much of a puncher, someone at a very low level who's never been anywhere near this level. Just engineer an opponent for an almost guaranteed win. And like I said, we're all desensitized to that and we all accept it. But it's just, do you not find it a strange concept when you step back and look at it? I think that our sport, 30% of the time, we're in competition, competitive matches that are almost unwinnable for the one that's been chosen for that purpose, and the purpose is to get beat. It's, I just thought it was a mad concept. A lot of the talk is now, obviously, the Joshua Fury is about who's got the most left. Now, depends where you look at it, doesn't it? Because if we look physically, I think Joshua's got way more left. I think, from the McMurdo fight, I think Fury's legs are on the way. I don't think his legs look good. I think they looked, a certain percentage gone to me. He was weak on them. He was pushed back easily. He took rests on the ropes at every opportunity. He got pushed back in straight lines. I just don't think he looked strong on the legs. I think his legs are on his way out. So if we look at physically who's got the most left, Joshua, because when you look at Joshua in the ring, when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois, he done a lot of things technically wrong, technically awful. But it's not like he's now slower on his feet. His now punches are slower. From a physical point of view, Joshua isn't really any different. Joshua's never held a shot that well. When he gets hit, he stays hit. But physically, he's still almost a prime athlete in that sense. Well, I don't think Fury is. Of course, Fury's mentality and his psyche is a lot more prime than Joshua's is, especially now, or we're yet to see, but certainly since Ruiz won. Joshua has shown the effects of being traumatized in a sense, and that's not too big a word. That's probably the technically correct word for it, traumatized by the first defeat to Ruiz. Left him gun shy, left him fully aware of his vulnerabilities, and that affected him as a boxer, as a fighter. So who's got more left? Fury always is going to be more mentally resilient, I think, than Joshua in the ring. I think we've seen enough evidence to prove that. But in terms of physically, in terms of athletically, I think Joshua's got way more left. I don't think Joshua's actually lost much in terms of athleticism in the ring. So, yeah, who knows? Anyway, we'll see you all soon.